We're going.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the D2T2 podcast. Today is the D2 special. Just me and Daniil here. We're going to be going over the hit anime and manga Spy Family. Uh, I've heard a lot of really good things about the anime and manga, and I kind of wanted to see what all the hype was all about. So we decided to have me watch the anime and Daniil read the first volume. This episode, we're just going over the first volume. And we're going to kind of go over our different opinions on, you know, how the anime was versus the manga and just our opinions in general over the first volume of Spy Family.
Sounds good. We get this ready to roll. I think that he summed up everything pretty well there. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. That's for sure. I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. Just not something that captivated me the
Mhm.
way it did. We had to pause reading and watching, which was hard for both of us. So we get this out without having any crossover of volumes or um pages or whatnot,
Mhm.
episodes. But yeah, we're gonna start with the opening. What you think about the opening? How they opened you up to the world? How it starts out with them getting it? I think starts out with them catching the spot with him. What was it? Was it he
It
was? They're
was
talking about the
introducing Twilight
yeah.
and kind of showing like his specialty,
Wasn't it
which
the pictures at
is the
first?
pictures.
What I thought. I
Yeah,
didn't know for sure.
I thought it was pretty cool how they introduced Twilight and kind of showed us that main specialty is that nobody really knows who he is at any certain time. Like he's very good at disguising himself and very good at just playing a different role that he isn't actually, that person.
Yeah, he says it. Like you were saying about the roles, he says it. The father's just another role that he'll play to perfection. So
Hmm.
that's what he strives to do, and I like his character because he does all of this just for peace. Make sure peace. The people they don't know who does it. They don't see anything about it, but it's just to keep the peace. And yeah, because you learn about the West Dollars, and I don't know what
Hmm.
the East is called. I'm guessing it's called East
I'll
Dollars. I
no,
don't
it
know.
starts with an O.
I don't think I didn't see that.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But you learn real quick about his ability to change faces and everything because he gets the pictures. Then I flipped back and forth between that actually before we got on here, and I could not understand what was happening. He got the pictures. He said it looked like he walked away. They said don't forget, and I thought they got in the car, but he got in the car or something, and then he just ripped off. How'd they animate that? Did it make more sense than
It made pretty good sense. So
okay?
in the anime, he was handed the pictures and turned off and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy who handed him the pictures turned around and actually saw the actual boss who was supposed to get the pictures. So you kind of saw both people, and at first you were kind of wondering, like, okay, what just happened?
Okay.
I thought like the boss was playing a trick on him or just like testing the guy, but I guess Twilight was just that good at disguise that he tricked the guy into thinking that Twilight was the actual boss and was the person who's supposed to get the pictures.
Okay, because that is what confused me in the
Hmm.
panels at least. I figured the anime would have summed that up a little bit better,
Yeah,
which it sounds
later
like
on
they did.
you do see Twilight in the anime take off the head so that you can see it is him who
Yeah,
got the
he does that
pictures.
in the car too, but I didn't know how we got from grabbing the pictures to that because I saw
Hmm.
two multiple people in the frame.
Yeah.
But then you go to their little cat meow code cipher C where they transfer the newspapers over, and I like that because it really get like keeps with the whole spy thing. Everything's a code, so no one can break it. Um, and you get really into his next assignment pretty quick. But with that being said, I don't know where they go from here because it's supposed to be a week.
Hmm.
It seems like by the end of the volume, we're already 3 days in, which confuses, not confuses, but makes me wonder what if there's gonna be different missions because it seems like that's where they're gonna go. I'm guessing by the time we get to what they animated for season
Mhm.
one, the 12 episodes
Yeah.
is gonna be just that mission.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna go back to the train scene too because there was a part that I thought was very funny in the anime,
what
and
was that?
it was when he was thinking about everything he threw away in his life. He threw away his identity. He threw away his family, his ability to be married and have kids. And then he reads in the assignment, "You were gonna have to be married and have a kid."
And then he
And he
spits his
just spits
coffee.
his
Yep.
coffee. I thought that was so funny because it just completely flips everything he thought that being a spy was on its head.
Yeah, I like how it starts out serious and then it gets you with some comedy factors right
Mhm.
away, which really keeps you into it. Assassination Classroom is really good with that, with the comedy, and then Kaiju is really good with that from what I can see so far. But yeah, and then you get right into the orphanage,
Mhm.
run down shack, but I mean, kind of shows the times that they're trying to set for the overall environment. It shows you a little bit into the world around him, where they set up this world where everybody's suspicious of spies now. His assignment is to stop a war, a world war,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure, to keep
Yep.
world peace at least between those two, which go into that orphanage kind of shows like, yeah, this is kind of a messed up situation, but we're gonna see what this main character can do, how it's gonna work out. And then you meet Anya,
Yep.
probably one of the cutest little kids in anime. Just from I'm guessing the anime it was a little bit more I don't know, give you that can't find a way to word it. But when I was reading it, it's like this is a good character.
Mhm.
It's a kind of like the piece in the world of a seriousness of a spy and then later an assassin, which I think she's good for. And she
Yep.
knows what's going on without them knowing and it doesn't have to be said.
I think Anya is going to be really fun to watch in the later episodes and to read about in the later volumes,
Hmm.
just because it seems like every single time you see Anya on the screen, she is trying to get into something that she does not need to get into.
Oh yeah.
Like when she gets into Lloyd's spy equipment and sends that message, and
Yep.
then she ends up getting kidnapped because of it.
Say
Like,
and then you see that he really does care because he says he's throwing
mhm,
all this away and all the emotion, but he shows that he does care about this kid, even though it plays off as the mission. But you can see his feelings. I mean, he says he's falling asleep in front of people, which you never did. But before even that, I liked how she's watching the spy show, and that's why she was so cool. She says it's her favorite show. I'm pretty sure. So she's watched it before, and then she learns he's a spy, and she's just enamored in her own head about it. And then he said he's going out, about to leave this little kid, which shows that he has no father capabilities at all. And then she gets all happy, adventure time, like a little kid grabs his leg, and she says, "I want a silence pistol." And his answer,
yeah,
"If they have one on sale." And that made me laugh. The
mhm,
whole volume had a lot of good. It didn't have any low points. It started out well, introduced the characters, and then into probably everyone's favorite character. I like Lloyd the most so far, but yours right there.
I want to touch on something that I caught in the anime, and I don't know if they went over it in
You want to
the
touch on
manga.
something? Continue.
I want to go over. So when it was going over Anya's backstory and how she was a test subject, did you see which number she was?
um, for I saw the number for the school when they took the
Yeah,
test.
A212. Yeah, but when she was a test subject, she was test number 007.
I didn't see that. That's a good touch though, because if you're doing
Yeah.
something with spies, having a reference from James
Mhm.
Bond definitely
I
works.
saw that and I was like, that is a really good
Was that?
little piece of info that they threw in there.
Let me see. I have this pulled up here. The chapters. I don't know. Does it? When does it go over her backstory? When he first gets her?
Um,
Oop!
I think
I
it's
see it. No time for
yeah.
tears. Um. I don't know if it says it. It definitely says in here, but I can't find it.
Mhm.
No, I won't
I
spend too
was
much time
just
looking for
I
it.
was just gonna see if you caught on to that
No,
because
I
I
didn't
thought that
see that
was
at
like
all.
a really smooth play on the whole spy theme.
Yeah, this author, what's his name? He is really he's kind of killing it, and it's just
Mhm,
one volume in. It's just one chapter in. Tatsuya Endo. He definitely set what he wanted to the groundwork. I think that he had
mhm,
this planned out way before he started writing it. Not like some authors, like I know Togashi for Hunter x Hunter, he kind of writes as he goes, and that's why the arcs end so abruptly. Is because he gets bored with writing it, so he doesn't want to force it out, so he just ends it. But I talk about Hunter x Hunter all day, so we don't talk about that. But that's just a connection because it definitely seems like he has a goal in mind,
mhm.
and that he's gonna probably write what he wants. I don't know if this is gonna be a long one. I feel like after a while it might feel played out, but I don't
Mhm.
know. He's doing a good job keeping me captivated, and that was all just chapter one, and not even all of it because you meet Yor. She's kind of like getting bullied at the office, and I'm pretty sure you see her actual job in the first chapter, correct?
Yeah.
Where she goes into the hotel.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You see that, and then you're like, okay, this is going somewhere. Because at first, it warns you that there's an assassin, but I feel like if he didn't do that at the beginning, that wasn't spoiled from the beginning. I think that would have been more of a surprise.
Mhm.
Because did they narrate that in the anime? Where it says there's this, because at the beginning it says hiding what you know or whatever. And the first panel is them sitting at it's all three of them sitting at a table. And behind him's a bunch of spy gear, and behind her's some dead bodies that she's kicking out the way.
Uh, it does that later on, like when they actually start the family
Hmm.
and they sit at the table together for the first time. That's when it shows that behind him is a spy gear, and then behind her is a bunch of bodies, and Anya's sitting at the head of the table.
Hmm. So you
So
see,
that's like later on in the
okay.
yeah.
So you start when you first meet Yor, the office was just robbed. All the files with the female candidates, which know is Lloyd because he's looking
Hmm.
for a wife. And they're all creeped out about it. And yours, she just kind of agrees with it. She's trying to play her part because this is not her actual job. And then she gets home and she gets a call from what I thought was her sister at first. Learned it's her brother. I had to reread that, but her brother is shows concern, which I like because she raised him and did what she could, and then he's paying it back by threatening not
He's
to
a
take the
little
promotion.
protective.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
he's
little
not gonna
protective
take the
of her.
promotion if she doesn't get somebody nice that he approves of.
Hmm.
So she's invited to this party, and then she slips up and tells her brother that she has a boyfriend that she's gonna take. And then I think after this is where you get to her assassination, where the
That's
dress.
when the shopkeeper calls her.
No, she calls the shopkeeper on accident, wasn't it?
No,
Because she went to
she
call
got a
back.
call. She got a call for. She was arguing with her brother,
Mm-hmm.
hung up. Then she got a call again. She
I
picked it up and started complaining to her brother. The shopkeeper said, "Oh, you've got a nice relationship with your brother." She's like, "Oh, shopkeeper, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, I thought she called him back, trying to
Mhm.
say that she wasn't going, because it she had the inner her you hear her thoughts, and I thought it
Mhm.
was because she was regretting telling him that, so I thought she was
Yeah.
trying to backpedal. But with that, she goes into.
Which I thought the call with the shopkeeper was really interesting because you could really see like the light switch in Yor get flicked. As
Mhm.
soon as he called her Thorn Princess, she just completely switched to a different person.
Yeah, because that's who sets up her
Mhm.
jobs, and then that's when she goes to her because does she use like sewing needles for her assassinations?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a sewing needle,
That's what I was
which I'm
thinking.
guessing that's why she's called Thorn Princess because they're like big thorns.
So yeah, in this picture, yeah, it definitely looks like it.
Hmm.
So they have that. She rips her dress. Lloyd's going to get a suit, correct?
She's going. Lloyd is going to get clothes for Anya,
It was for Anya. Okay.
and he's also looking for candidates because he tried his
Oh
best
yeah,
friend and
yeah.
it did not work.
Because she didn't. Because Anya didn't want Fluffy as the mom. And then
Yeah.
she was worried, and you have the cute little thing where she says it's gonna have to be fluffy, and then they bump into each other, and it kind of works out. How did the agreement come upon again? I've read too
They
much in the past few days.
so when they met, they both had their alternative motives, right?
Oh yeah.
Yor wanted Lloyd to just pretend to be her boyfriend for the party so that
Mhm.
her brother didn't get worried, and Lloyd wanted Yor to pretend to be his girlfriend at the moment, but
No, he. I think he says it's wife for the
he said
interview.
girlfriend
I thought it
because
was the wife.
uh
I thought no. I
after the
think he says
party,
to be Anya's to pretend to be her mother.
yeah, to be the mother, right?
Yeah.
And then so they both had their motives and they agreed. So that's how the agreement started, but neither one really knew the end goal of either one's like a part of the deal.
One person did.
Well, yeah,
Anya. And which I
yeah,
think
Anya
because
knows
you
everything.
have it where she's in between them and she says the spy. Well, I think it's the narrator or whatever, or their
Hmm.
thoughts. A spy and assassin on each side of her. It shows a picture of her face. Her eyes are glowing with how cool it is.
Hmm.
And
And then she does that little singing in the
yep.
Taylor because Yor was thinking that Lloyd already had a wife and she was going to step on their toes, and then Lloyd said, "Oh well,
Oh
she won't
yep.
want to be my girlfriend because I already have a kid and blah blah blah." And then Anya just starts randomly singing how she wants a mama.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, your wife's not home." And then he makes up the story about it. He's definitely really
Mhm.
good at lying on the spot.
He's either good at lying or Yor is so like
No, she's
so
definitely
innocent or out of it or just like
she's
super
it
gullible.
could be that, but with her being an assassin, I feel like she would have to be somewhat intelligent. She does
See, I
think
don't
he's
know
nice, but you gotta remember
because
he's the best spy in West Dollars. So
mhm,
his line
yeah,
has to be spot on. So she probably believes him, and then this and then
some of the
this
stuff
just
he
how it
says
works
doesn't
out.
quite make sense though.
Oh, never.
Like when
Well, not
the
never, but
after the party when they're shooting at him, he's like, "Oh, they're just my patients."
I think
Yeah,
she didn't believe him. I think she was catching on. There's like
could be. Yeah,
the author tries his hardest to make it seem like it's not, but I feel like she was catching on.
I think so too, especially when she kicked the guy.
But yeah, the party you skip past that. He was late because he got
He was
another
like
job while on assignment to wasn't it the
the
luxuries in the
jewelry and
van.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a robbery in the van, and him and old um Fluffy go there, or Fuzzy, whatever it was.
Mhm.
um his assistant that does all the paperwork. They go, they get it all. She was just about to leave. He walks in, blood on him, and says, "Oh, sorry, I'm." And he introduced himself as her husband, and that was where it kind of had to work out. And then the party went well. That one nasty woman.
It almost didn't go well. They were threatening to like call the cops on her, saying that she was a spy, and
Oh
then
yeah, see, I
they
forgot about that.
tried to,
Yeah, they were like, "Oh,
yeah,
maybe she's a spy," and then the one worker was like, "No, just leave her alone." And then the was it Dominique's wife or
hmm
I don't know
Dominic's,
if they're
yeah.
married or whatever. Yours brother's friend was there. Keep an eye on her, and he said, and she said, "Please don't tell him." And then his wife's girlfriend or whatever is being a rag, and she says, "Oh no, he's gonna be honest. He's gonna do the right thing." And then Lloyd comes in, like we said, and she tries to spill a pot of hot soup, and Yor catches it with her foot, and
Hmm.
nothing spilled. And then in a
I thought that was
typical,
funny too.
oh yeah, typical elegant fashion, they eat
Well,
and say it's good.
I thought it was funny that Lloyd was just like, that's kind of rude to use your foot with the food.
Yep.
I was thinking she just caught it though, like it was about to.
Well, he's
I
still
don't know.
playing his part. Whatever. I think he was being
Mhm.
a little bit of a
Well,
smartass with that
he's
because of how
kind of like
they
that
were
with
treating
Anya
him.
too. Like whenever Anya's like, "Oh, I helped with this," he's like, "No, you didn't."
Oh yeah.
"Well, I did this." "No, you didn't."
And then
He's like super straightforward.
when she was like, "Oh, I want to be thanked too." What was that part for? Was that for the?
with the old lady.
Yeah, with the old lady. And then he's like, "Oh yeah." So they're doing their thing. They go back to apartment. They find a new apartment because, as we said,
Mhm.
Anya ratted out the other one.
Yeah.
They move. She moves in. They set the sleeping arrangements. They only sleep in the same room when they have company over. And then they're ready for the interview into Eden Academy, which is the most prestigious school there. And that's where the target is. He only holds meetings whenever you see him in public. He's through there. And I think his name's Desmond Donovan. So you see that. And then the interview, he's given up. He's like, maybe we need to go out and have these experiences. So they go to a restaurant, they go to an opera, and when they're going, weren't
In the
they?
art museum.
Yes, in the art museum. And then yours like, maybe you just need some fresh air. Because nothing's really going right.
That was at the rally. Uh, they were at like the political event, and Anya was having a really bad time. And
Oh
then,
yeah, because the crowds.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
then
then they got some fresh air at the
they got
park.
some air.
And then they see a guy rob this old lady. He takes off. Yor chases after him. Couldn't catch him because he changed clothes. And then Anya was reading the thoughts of all the people there. And then she said she was hungry and pointed in that direction. And Lloyd found out it was him. And that's when they stopped. They caught him. Lloyd puts his face in the concrete.
You'll eat the foulest of meal.
So yeah, it was. He's just a cool dude. They get the old lady's purse back, and she said, "You guys are such a nice family." And that's when he was like, "Okay, man, I don't need to stress so much. There could people see him as a good family, and that's what they need
Mhm.
for the academy." And I believe that leads into chapter 4.
I'm gonna jump back a little bit. We're
Good.
like jumping all over the place, but I think I'm just speculating here. I think Lloyd's partner during the heist with the jewelry and art, I think he got shot because after the party, uh, when yours in the passenger seat, that's the only side that the windshield is shattered on
Mhm.
in front, and at the very end, uh, of the chase scene with Lloyd and his partner after they take all the stuff. When the car is driving at them, there's gunfire, and then Lloyd's partner like slouches over before it cuts off.
I would say that, but don't we see something where they get away and he said, "I'm just keeping the diamond ring."
That was before.
That
That
was
was while
before.
they. That was
Okay.
right when they drove away from
Yeah,
the
and
place.
then they had the track. The track. He
Yeah,
found out they had the tracking during that, right? Or is that after
yeah.
the party?
That was after the party.
Yeah, because they come up and I think he looks in the back.
Because he's like,
Yes.
"Oh, they found us. They must
Yeah, I
have
forgot
tracked."
about that. I don't know if he's dead or not, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I feel like they would have made a point to show if he was dead or not.
Which they
But
might later. Who
it
knows?
looks
But
like they're
I'm
setting
just.
him up to be a somewhat important character,
Mhm.
kind of like the black guy in Kim Possible.
Or like Rangoku.
No, because Rengoku is actually cool.
Hey,
But
this guy's pretty cool.
chapter 4, what? Let me see. Chapter 4. Let's see how it starts out. Just get a. Okay, so this is when they are going to. Yeah, this is the political part. No, this is the Eden emissions. Yeah, the chapters they kind of all run together. This is when they get there, and Lloyd realizes he's being watched by amateurs because how hard the glance is.
Mhm,
Yor assumes they're being watched, and they are because the test started the moment you got into the school grounds.
mhm.
There's
Yeah,
a bunch of
Lloyd knew
housemasters
they were being
watching.
watched. Lloyd knew they were being watched. Yor kind of could feel the glances, and Anya just thought there was enemies around,
Yeah, because she read the
ready to
thoughts
ambush her. Yeah,
because he said, "Is this an attack or whatnot?"
are
And
they gonna ambush us?
she
And
started
Anya's like,
freaking out.
ambush enemy. Yeah.
So it's things like that that keep the like with serious. It like kind of lightens the mood for anything that could
Hmm.
possibly be serious. And this is when you meet probably he's not my favorite character, but he is definitely a great character. It's Henderson. I think it's isn't it
Is he the headmaster?
yes, the old guy. I can't remember his first
Yeah.
name, but Henderson. He is all obsessed with elegance. His personality is described as elegant. And he's just basically nutting over Lloyd the whole
Yeah.
time. But then he thinks that they're not, he thinks it's fake. And they have a kid set up after they get sent through the first gate. There's a kid that's trying to get extra credit at the school, acting like he's stuck.
Hmm.
Lloyd gets him out,
Stuck in the sewer.
and they get mud on him. And he said, "Oh, no elegant person." Well, he said he was happy that he did it with elegance, but then he said, "We can never have an interview with muddy people."
Hmm.
And then you see that they were ready, and they all brought a change of clothes, so they were ready for it. And then he's definitely
He's
just
going
nutting
nuts. He's like,
all over the place
how
again.
elegant.
Yeah, he's like seeing the most elegant people he's ever seen.
Hmm.
And then the animals are released off the farm. Lloyd thought it was a setup. Find out it wasn't. They
The
all got
headmaster
muddy.
thought it was a setup,
Yeah, the
and
headmaster
then
said, "Who
they were
did
like,
this?"
wait, you didn't tell us to?
Like,
No.
no,
Oh, it's an actual
because
accident.
he thought it was too far as well.
Hmm.
And they find out that it was not a setup at all. And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna reset." They thank him for saving all the families because Yor beat the crap out of the pressure points on the cow.
Yeah, she did her yoga pressure points that she
Yeah,
said she learned.
yoga. She fucks up this bull that was leading it, and
And
it
then it
stopped
shows that
everything.
Anya can read animals' minds too,
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't really think too much about it. I
which
guess I
is
just
kind
kind
of
of
crazy.
assumed she could read everything's mind.
I just thought she could read humans' minds. It kind of makes sense too because her favorite snack is peanuts. And I mean,
And peanuts solves everything for her.
yeah, but I just thought it was pretty interesting
Hates
that
carrots.
she could read the minds of the animals too. So
Mhm.
it's just a little extra detail that
I
they
didn't. I
threw in
kind of
there.
skimmed over that. That you see it happen. I didn't really like think about it because isn't it just
Mhm.
moo
Well,
or what was
uh,
actually said?
she
Because moo
said
they
that
moo afterwards.
the cow was scared, so
Hmm.
she walked up and patted it and
Yep.
said, "It's okay, don't be scared." And then
Okay.
it stood up. She's like, "They said they're going home," and they just all the animals were just walking away.
And nobody batted an eye at that.
Yeah, no one really
And
cared.
then they're like, okay, we're gonna reschedule the interviews. I think Lloyd and them were gonna get their interview because the headmaster
Hmm.
loved them, and they changed clothes again. And then he's just all for the Forgers.
Yeah,
Is
he's just
that
like,
isn't that how you
"Okay,
say it?
you guys are a little weird.
Yeah, he's like,
You guys
this
are
is weird,
prepared
but
for this
it is
too."
so elegant. Elegance
Yeah.
all over the place. And I think that is kind of where it ends. Cause yeah, the cow, she's yeah, I see you're talking about it. Yes, she
Hmm.
said don't be scared. Yeah, because it doesn't yeah, it said is the cow scared is her thought bubble. Because that's what it was. It was the squiggles that were in the pages, it was the squiggles above the cow's thoughts. So that and then Lloyd was freaking out that she was getting too close.
Hmm.
But after that, they changed clothes, and then this is truly elegance or something far more terrifying.
Yeah.
And I believe is the last. Yeah, that's the last page in your chapter 5, which is the interview itself. In the interview, you meet the what was it, the headmaster for history, or is that no Henderson's the
It
history
was
headmaster?
it was the headmaster of the school, which was the elegant
This
guy,
yeah
and
the son right of the old headmaster.
it was the son of the old headmaster, which I think was Swan, and he was also one of the dorm teachers.
Yeah, they're all a dorm teacher
Yeah,
of a different one. Evan Walter Evans, 59 years old, was the English
that's the
teacher.
guy that everybody likes.
Say he's the really nice guy, the outgoing
Mhm.
guy. And the little Hitler offspring is Swan. Yep, economics teacher. So he likes math, so that says everything you need to know. And it's Henry
Yeah.
Henderson. I thought it was Henry, but it just sounded off. But yeah, then you have Henry Henderson, you have Swan, and you have Evans are the three headmasters at the interview. The Evans and Swan and Henderson, they like it.
Mhm.
Henderson loves him for his elegance. Walter likes the answers that they're giving. And this Swan guy must have been hurt in the past.
Well, didn't it say Swan's wife
Yes, he's just
a
going through
week
the
before
divorce.
just filed for divorce? So any family that's like a really lovely family, he actually hates
which
completely.
they needed a whole family, which makes no sense on the interview why he's there.
Hmm.
You want to go into that one on Swan? Because that's normally that's main. They ask the questions everybody, but he's the one really trying to get them not accepted.
Well, I think if we start with Evans first, he starts asking the questions to Anya because the questions to Yor and Lloyd don't really matter too
Hmm.
much because they're just like generic answers. Lloyd thought of them all. Anya starts to crack under the pressure a little bit when they start asking her.
Because
So,
she read the thoughts of Lloyd and realized that he was scared that it was going to fail. And I
mhm,
think Yor had a thought too that she read. I can't. That's
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but when they start asking her the questions, they ask her like, "What's her name and where does she live?" And I think she messes up a little bit on that. I think she says her last name wrong, but she's also young, so I'm pretty sure they looked past that. Then they asked her, "What does she do on her free time, like during the day?" She says she eats. What'd she say?
she watches at restaurants and eats at operas,
Yeah,
which is possible. Not what you
it's not really
probably
what you're
doing there,
supposed to
but
do, but
they got
yeah.
TVs at
So
restaurants.
so that's where she starts crumbling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then they asked her, what does her dad do for work? She almost let it slip that he was a spy.
She said spy
Spy
psychiatrist.
specialist in
Yeah,
mental health.
say she spy and psychiatrist, and
Hmm.
these headmasters are supposed to be so smart fell for the dumb shit.
And then they asked her like what her goals at school were, and she read Lloyd's mind and said that she was trying to get behind the plans of the
I can't. She calls him something. She said she calls him Desmond. She butchers it because she knows
yeah,
the address. Um, she calls him to expose the secrets of the boss of the organization. She doesn't actually say
yeah,
his name.
and she says that, and everyone's like, Lloyd and Yor are like, what just happened? She just ruined this. And then the headmaster's like, you mean like the person who founded this school? You were so smart. Like, what are you gonna do to try to live up to this? And she quoted the training regiment from Spy Wars, the show she likes,
Yeah, but in
and that like,
between that, oh sorry, my bad.
well, it just like blew everybody's mind. It blew the three teachers' mind. They're like, wow, that's a little too far, but you're like perfect.
Say and then because she Lloyd said, "What did she just say?" And then he says about the answer is supposed to be read out library books. And then the he said the boss of the organization. Do you mean the headmaster? And then she said, "Oh, and library books." But then Lloyd said, "Oh, she's extremely ambitious. She just wants to curious about the lives and habits of people who achieve leadership positions." And
Mm-hmm.
then old Mister Henderson, and he was like, "Oh, do you know what you have to do to be succeed?" She said, "Yeah, like running through a jungle to get strong and practicing life or death stuff over and over to get brave." She has her terrified look on her face, and then you realize that's the montage from the Yesterday Spy cartoon. And then he's just what incredible resolve. This is elegance in the child, and he's sitting there just jacking off this family in his mind about how elegant they are.
Yeah, but after the questioning with Anya, we get Mr. Swan, who decides to start questioning the parents and Anya also. So he asks, what Yor does, she cooks, and he finds out that Yor doesn't cook. Lloyd does most of the cooking. Well, Swan can't believe that. What kind of wife
He
doesn't cook for the
can't
family?
believe a woman don't know her
Yeah.
place.
What kind of woman doesn't live in the
He
kitchen? Am I
expects her to
right?
put the chef catch on, get in there, and start chefing it up. Like she does. That's not what she does.
Which
She makes
after he
tea.
says that, Lloyd starts getting a little frustrated, and he
This
kind
I
of
like this part of you see his character and how he
yeah,
actually
he
starts to
kind of
care for
takes a
these two.
second and thinks about it like, wait, why am I getting frustrated? This isn't my wife. I shouldn't care about these people. I have a mission. Well, then Swan asks Anya because he realizes that Yor isn't Anya's mom
Yep.
because Yor he finds out Lloyd is married twice and uh it's not Yor's kid. So he asks Anya who she likes more, her first mom or her second mom.
And that
And
is you get a glimpse of how she feels about her past family. Cause
this is the
she's
breaking point for not only Anya but for also Lloyd
oh, and Yor,
because
cause
and
she,
Yor, yeah.
cause she was the first one to really
Yor was
jump.
about to murder Swan. She was literally about to drop everything and just kill Swan on the spot. Anya starts breaking down and crying just at the thought of her mom, which kind of brings into the thought like, are we really being told the whole backstory on Anya's life? Like,
Hmm.
we were told that she was a test subject in a lab and she was made to read people's mind, but obviously she had a mom. She
Hmm.
had a family before, but you know, hopefully we get to find out more about
Oh,
her
I would
old
hope we
family.
would.
And Lloyd just can't handle Swan talking to Anya like that. Like, I guess this is the tipping point in Lloyd's mind to where Anya's more family than a prop, right?
Hmm.
Because Lloyd is trying to tell himself, calm down. Like, this is part of the mission. It's okay. But while he's telling himself to calm down, he's subconsciously launching himself over the coffee table at Swan.
Yep. So that's the what's right on here, and it's
Hmm.
because when he asked, he said, "Well, there you go. She likes the real mommy the best." And then Yor said enough of this and goes to comfort Anya because she starts crying, and then he makes that comment saying, "Oh, it's full of parents living away from their full of students living away from their parents." And he said, "But you burst into tears over this little thing." And then Lloyd is like, "We're a fake family to begin with," and then you get the killer intent
He's about
in
to
her
go
eyes. Say the
nutso.
panel is really clean. I'm guessing the anime looks just as
It's
good.
pretty good.
Say and said you consider that a little thing, and then he's like, "Oh, what's the problem? Second wife is she doesn't love you better?" Thinking he's being funny. Lloyd jumps up, smashes the table in half. Oh, there's a mosquito. And he had enough at that point. He said, if belittling this child is part of Eden education philosophy, then we chose the wrong school.
Hmm.
And then Swan thinks he won, saying, "Oh, they'll never step foot in Eden Academy again." And you get old Elegance man himself.
Yeah.
He thinks back to Lloyd's answer of why they chose the school. It's because it's most prestigious and that's the only place he wants his child learning from. And he says, "You." He Lloyd wasn't. No, it was before this. They're talking. He said, Swan said, "Calm down, Henderson. I have more pull than you here because his dad, he's
Hmm.
going off daddy's name."
His dad is the old headmaster, so
Yep. And then Henderson said, "They, the Forgers, were not the ones who disrespected Eden Academy." And this old man hauls off and punches the shit out
straight
of
knocks
Swan.
him out.
And it
He
was
just knocks
perfect.
him out.
Your camera froze, but we I can still hear you. Um,
I'll just go without
oh,
for
you're
the
good.
rest.
And he he punches him, and he's this is then Swan gets all upset, but then it cuts to them talking at home, and Lloyd was ready to give up, and then Yor was kind of optimistic, maybe say maybe people will pull for us there, the other people,
Hmm.
and Anya doesn't want to go home, and that goes back to one of the questions said, "What would you give your parents?" Um, you just grade your two parents, and she said both of them, 100%. So you know how she feels, and you get this throughout the earlier chapters as well. And they all sit there talking, and she's like, "Let me put on some tea." And Lloyd said, "Let's make." I don't want to butcher the quote. He says,
Let's leave our let's leave the decision up to fate. I
"Yeah."
think that's what he
And
said.
in his thoughts, he says, "Spy never lasts anybody else, and his spy plans for every outcome." That said, maybe it wouldn't hurt to feel just a tiny bit. And then it's to our family's bright future, and they all clank their tea glasses, and then their family picture falls off the wall. And that concludes what the first 4 episodes in the first volume.
Yep.
And like he said, he was wondering about why it was so hyped up. And I had, for me, it was opposite. I had seen at Barnes and Noble. I go there frequently. I look for new things to read. And I saw it. I was like, and maybe I shouldn't get it. Maybe I'll wait. And I saw that the anime had really good reception. And he said, I don't know what everyone's so hyped about. And I was like, yeah, maybe we should give it. Well, we actually agreed to give it a try because he mentioned last week when I was in the bathroom on our podcast that Spy Family was on his list. And I was like, I've been wanting to try it. So we decided to give it a try and cook out this, what we thought was going to be a short review, but packed a lot of action in 4 episodes in one volume.
Yes.
So yeah, that was what we thought of it. I have a theory that Lloyd we see is not his actual face, the actual Twilight. I think it's another face because a lot
That could be.
he is a man of many roles and faces. I think that his it kind of shows that you don't know what to trust. And whenever he goes into a place, he never shows his face. But there's a couple. I think there's one or the instance with the van. He goes in
Mhm.
with his normal face on, which leads me to believe that it's not his real face, and he might reveal it later on. Because I think that they all end up staying together, and they end up getting feelings for each other, and then they keep Anya as well because they both, from what it looks like, really do care for her.
Yeah.
Yor from the jump, it seemed like she really cared for her. I think Yor just likes kids though.
Well, Yor also doesn't realize that Anya is only there for the mission. Like,
Yes.
Yor actually believes that Anya is Lloyd's kid.
Mm-hmm. So she cares, and
So in
she's
yeah,
not
so
fake
in
care.
Yor's eyes, she actually cares for Anya because she thinks that Lloyd truly has Anya as his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're a family.
And she believes that it was his wife's dying wish for her to go to that school.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have anything else to add, Daniel, I
No,
think this is a
that was
pretty good
my
spot
theory
to
that I
stop.
gathered up. I hope it's not true because that would be some hoe shit to
Mhm.
be hiding it from them. But as a spy, you never know. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up there. That was covered everything I wanted to cover. If we forgot anything, I mean,
Yep. And if you guys watching have anything to add on or want to let us know, obviously we hopefully want you guys not to spoil us too much, but that's just part of the job.
it's
But just leave a comment,
what we
let us
stepped
know.
into.
Yep. If you guys want to add on to anything we say, just leave a comment about that too. I mean, I would love to read them. I just want to know your guys' insights on everything that we've went over and more.
Yeah, we should be maybe not a whole week. We have our podcast dropping. We're gonna record that 2 days from now.
Hmm.
The time we're recording this one should go out on Wednesday. And then our podcast should come out Friday, so you guys can watch that. Stay looking forward to it. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a like, and then we should be back with this one maybe this weekend. Maybe we can get this one out a
Yep.
little bit quicker
We'll
because
see you guys in.
we're definitely both intrigued and want to
Yeah.
move on with the series. So we'll definitely both get enough done in that time. But yeah, unless if you have
Stay
anything else to
tuned
say,
for part two of Spy Family and
Spy.
episode two of our podcast, where we're going to be going over some new anime that I've been watching and some other pretty interesting topics over some new
Some
mangas that's dropping.
kaiju, some Vinland
Some
Saga,
Finland
and
Saga. Yep.
I think that might be a shorter podcast unless we have any. Maybe we talk about Naruto because we've all watched part one and catch up to it. But yeah,
Yep.
if you don't have anything else to add, wrap it up here.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Stay elegant. The capital. The whole word is capital.
Yes, sir.